July the 24th, 2020. Guys, you're looking at current satellite images over the Gulf of Mexico. It is now 6:12 p.m. Central Time, and I wanted to come in and get a few shots like I did yesterday before the sun starts to set. Now, this tropical storm, Hanna, has strengthened to 50-mile-per-hour sustained winds. And look at really the size of it. It encompasses most of the Gulf of Mexico. And, you know, some of the outer bands, the outflow bands, are all the way down into the Bay of Campeche. And again, it's not Cat 1 or 2 hurricane or anything like that. But the size of it means that it contains a lot of moisture. Look at that it's completely cloud-wrapped. And we may see an eye out of this. It's almost tried to do it a couple times throughout the day. But it's large, it's increasing in size. Around 8 p.m. or so, we should get another update on this. But you guys in Texas, if you look at Louisiana, and finally, if you look into central Mississippi, you'll see one of the outer bands come through. And we got some much-needed rain. It wasn't a lot, but every little bit helped. It at least knocked the dust down. So we're thankful for that. You guys, though, in Texas, the storm is now moving directly west. It was moving west-northwest, remember that? We'll look at the stats on it. But again, I hope you got your preps ready for it, because this thing could get very close to 60 miles an hour or so, maybe even more than that by the time it comes ashore. And that's definitely going to affect your power, your low-lying flood areas, possible tornadoes and waterspouts, things like that. Of course, we've talked about the rip currents, but it's getting very close to shore, and you're already feeling the effects. Looking at this from the National Hurricane Center out of Miami, Hanna is 50-mile-per-hour sustained wind, so you know your gusts are higher than that. Pressure's dropped below 1,000 millibars. It's down to 999. Its movement west at 9 knots or 10 miles an hour. Again, not northwest, so Texas, it's coming straight west towards you at this time. Now, Gonzalo has weakened because of that Saharan dust layer that we've been talking about. It's all over the top of it. We'll look at the wide Atlantic satellite, but it's down to 40 miles per hour. The pressure is lowered, but it's getting absorbed into a lot of that dust. We'll see how it works out as it gets closer into the Caribbean, but it's moving also west at 18 miles an hour, so it's moving fast. Behind that, the system we've been watching come off of Africa, so 40% chance of cyclone formation within 5 days. A tropical wave located about 300 miles southeast of the Cabo Verde Islands continues to produce an area of cloudiness and disorganized showers and thunderstorms. The disturbance is expected to move westward across the tropical Atlantic during the next several days, and some gradual development of the system is possible by early next week when it reaches the western tropical Atlantic. It's going to be coming right behind Gonzalo, possibly just a little to the north, as you can see in the tracking. Also want to give a shout out to our friends in Hawaii. And this is Hurricane Douglas, guys. And notice one thing. Maximum sustained winds at 115. That's a Cat 3 hurricane as it comes ashore. And it's projected to come just almost dead center of the island chain right there in the pink. What you've got is hurricane watches. So by 8 a.m. Sunday, this thing's all over, you guys. Tomorrow at 8 p.m., it's getting very close. After it goes through the islands, two things are happening. The islands will absorb some of the storm, slow it down, and you're going to be moving into cooler water. But it's going to be affecting the chain from, again, 8 a.m. Sunday. It will be much earlier than that, because being a Cat 3 hurricane, that's just the center. So possibly anytime during Saturday evening, you're going to be getting hurricane force winds. And then it's going to be there until around 8 a.m. Monday. See this? So check. It'll be slowing down because of that, but it may have done a lot of damage by then. And we'll watch that, guys. I'll start reporting on this up through, we'll go into Monday morning. I'll include it, but it's getting dangerous. The entire planet is overheating. Now let's look at the wide Atlantic for one moment. Now, as we look at the wide Atlantic, guys, look at the size of our storm in the Gulf of Mexico, Hanna. From this morning until now, it's really strengthening and wrapping up, pulling in a lot of moisture, Be very careful with this thing. In the center here is Gonzalo, and it's took a lot of beating from this dust cloud right there and still in the top of it. Once it gets through the what we call the Hurricane Alley and going into the Caribbean, we'll see how it's affected by that. And you have a second large Saharan layer here. Now this is the system, which is the largest so far this year, that has a 40% chance of development, and it's moving west, possibly just north, again, from the projected path of where Gonzalo is now. Let me play this forward. But it's that time of the year. The Atlantic's heating up. You even have disturbances off the Bahamas. East of the Bahamas, you can see that in the Atlantic, closer to the U.S. But these three areas right now are what we're watching, but the waters are so warm that we could see a record number. We've already seen record storms as far as when they started or how early in the season they started. But again, this is an amazing image to me from the Gulf of Mexico as the sun is getting ready to set all the way to the widest section of the Atlantic going over into the African coast. Things are heating up, guys. I hope you're preparing. Let me say this. Black Fridays matter, and what I'm saying about that is today, remember a lot of people started getting a $600 a week check for unemployment, and a lot of them never went back to work at that time because it was more than they were making, you know, a couple $100 in some cases. Well, that ended, and it ends at midnight. They haven't made a new resolution. They're still arguing in D.C. on what to do. Goldman Sachs said that if they were hoping for something, even if it was a 50% reduction down to $300 a week. We'll see, but nothing has been voted on yet. The other thing that's ending today is you can't evict someone during the coronavirus. That expires today. I think it's at midnight also. I think there will be a time like a 30-day notice or something before you can actually be evicted. But we're looking at over 20 million people. So not only will the money to buy food be cut off, but they could be homeless. And guys, if you're not prepared, please prepare now. I don't care if you go to our website and get the survival food, which is the #1 on the planet, or even if you start storing beans and rice. Get the big bags, order them online if you don't want to wear a mask, and look at some of the big stores, get them in, vacuum seal them, store them. Be prepared, because the second wave has nothing to do with coronavirus, I don't think. I think it is got to do with the economic collapse of this country. And when you see that many people unemployed, guys, think of what the stock markets are going to start doing. And it's going to be a lot of trouble. It's going to be a tsunami of chaos we've talked about many times. So be prepared now. Don't wait. Go online right now. Find some, like I said, go to BP Earthwatch, get the 20-year survival food that's very good. Or if nothing else, get beans and rice, vacuum seal them, put them up. You're going to need it. I'm very serious. It's a heads up. Be safe.